I feel like, every new bull market, there's a new wave of people who are coming in. And it's interesting how some of the people who have been in the space for a long time, you know from what time they've come in.
In this interview on Raoul Pal's The Journeyman, Dan Tapiero discusses how exponential technologies are driving digital asset growth, why Bitcoin's $100,000 milestone signals a new global monetary paradigm, and how tokenized real-world assets are reshaping traditional finance. Bitcoin has reached $100,000 amidst recent market changes. Don't miss this pivotal moment. For more crypto insights, subscribe and hit the bell.
They're not as interested in some of the new stuff. They stay focused on, what's brought them to where they are today. I saw Dan M posted something about his Bitcoin fund, and it's up, whatever, 1,000x, 100,000% or whatever it is. But, a Bitcoin fund today is not, it's in 2011 or 12, whenever he started, it was really a market genius, and, it's been hugely successful. But today, that's not very interesting for people. I think that there are many, many outlets, and being such a pioneer, I think the space is innovating and growing so quickly. There are a few of those guys around. I mean, I can remember the guy who was at the time the president of my gold company, GBI. He bought Bitcoin at $3 and he sold it at 90. And I told him, that's better than any trade I'd ever done in my whole career. That was unbelievable. And he was very, much on the cutting edge, close with Barry Silbert as well. But yeah, to have the fortitude to stay with it till today, I don't think anyone could have sort of discounted the degree to which things changed, the speed. We went from being in a regulatory environment in the US, where companies were being, in an outright way attacked, sued, Coinbase, Kraken, Ripple. There was the Operation Choke Point thing where difficult for certain companies and entities in crypto to even get bank accounts. So it was extremely hostile, and people were leaving the US to set up in other places around the world. So we went from extremely hostile to extremely friendly, potential crypto hub of the world in a matter of weeks. And so, we knew, look, Trump owns crypto, and Elon is crypto, and the cabinet all has crypto, and the Congress. So, and it's not crypto; it's also Web3, blockchain, digital assets. It's everything. It's not just let's own Bitcoin and sit back and HODL. And so, I think it's the possibility of having the largest, most important, wealthiest country, most important, strongest government, actually coming out there now and incentivizing the development of blockchain crypto, incentivizing companies to set up here and not elsewhere. If that happens, I really think the US just blows away everybody else. I mean, Europe will never be able to shift as quickly. Asia is fractured. China changes its mind every 18 months. People don't trust what's going on there. And this is absolutely the right maneuver. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but 5 years ago when we had our first Bitcoin chat, it was the summer of 2019. And I said in that chat, I didn't understand why the US was not at the forefront of this, because it would allow us to have a digital dollar via the stablecoin. I mean, stablecoins didn't exist back then, but I thought if you have Bitcoin as your core collateral, you have stablecoins that are largely dollar-based, you have a massive advantage. And the US, it took 5 years, or maybe it's been in development for the last sort of, I think, 2-3 years. People have been saying, wow, this is a great technology. Why aren't we harnessing this? Yeah, I mean, I've always believed in this sort of multi-chain world that different blockchains can have different use cases. I mean, Bitcoin, no question, is the collateral for the whole space, and we've talked about that I don't know how many times. The smart contract platform, Solana, Speed, but there are other things like Sui and Sei that are coming up that will find specific use cases, right? So it shouldn't be that meme coins are on the Bitcoin blockchain. Come on. It's fine that it's on Solana and all the activity is there. So I think that the number of use cases is so great. We haven't even seen what I think is, and I've been looking for companies in this area, but what I think is one of the most important use cases, which is the use of the permanent ledger. The fact that whatever is stamped on that blockchain is there forever, can be verified, that truth machine concept. There are still very few companies out there or people that are applying the power of that to business generally. And, so for instance, could there be a blockchain that focuses specifically on that aspect that doesn't exist today? Sure. Are there going to be blockchains that maybe focus more on RWAs? Or will there be one that is more of an NFT based one? Will there be an art one? Will there be one for property and real estate? Everything can't go on one chain. So, we're in the business, the funds, of investing in businesses that are leveraged to all of the developments that are happening in the digital asset ecosystem. I don't think I have the skill set, and I think it's more of a venture type investor that is going to sit there, take apart the code, work with a foundation, grow a specific use case on a specific chain. I know you're on the foundation of Sui. And so, you rolled up your sleeves there. You've been 100% right. I mean, really hats off to you. That's been phenomenal. But, I haven't done that work. So I don't know what's Sui's reason for, existence. I'm sure it has one.
As Dan Tapiero discussed, let's explore these critical themes. Exponential tech adoption driving digital asset markets, Bitcoin's role as a secure global monetary anchor, and how tokenization of real-world assets is bridging traditional and modern financial systems?
Well, I think the Fed is still in a lowering rates mode. Why unemployment has stayed so low, I think that maybe is, I wouldn't mind getting your view on that. It's
immigration.
Yeah, well,
it was immigration.
The data is all sort of slowed down, 2 to 3% GDP, 2 to 3% CPI. I mean, this is all just trend stuff. And I think rates are probably a little high still. I still think 3 is probably the right number that we see in this cycle, especially if they're going to tighten fiscal policy. So this is something, leads into the best in question. I think he and some of the other macro guys, and, you and I have known him a long time. I haven't talked to him in a few years, but we've certainly had, plenty of interaction. Very smart, very capable, and very macro, really the first Treasury secretary that really knows markets. He's very successful as a fund manager and actually has a view on currency, actually has a view on what the interest rate should be. I think, the person at the Fed, I know they're talking about bringing in Warsh. Is that too? I think the two of them would work really well together. And I think the two of them together would be great. But I think they both have the mentality of tightening fiscal budget, tightening fiscally. And so now with Doge, with Elon, leading Doge, I think you are going to see a rationalization of the U.S. government. People say, oh, it's harder than you think. They won't be able to do it. I mean, everyone said that about everything Elon is doing. So good luck taking the other side of Elon. He'll be doing construction up on Mars, within 10 years. And people say, oh, it's impossible today. So rationalizing the U.S. government, maybe putting some of the processes on blockchains, that might be helpful. Injecting AI potentially into the process also is, you're more of an expert than I am on that, would be very helpful. So I see it as a whole package: fiscal tightening, fiscal rationalization, AI, bringing the government processes and functions up to a 2020 level. Many of these things are still left in 20th century.
To watch the full interview, check the link in the description. In summary, we've explored the drivers behind digital asset growth, acknowledged Bitcoin's milestone at $100,000, and discussed the impact of tokenizing real-world assets. We'd love your thoughts. Which real-world assets will benefit most from tokenization? How will Bitcoin's $100,000 milestone affect traditional investors? Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe, like, and share to stay updated on the evolving world of decentralization.